If you were paying attention, you noticed there was a Halloween float out in front of the Champ's restaurant today, and I think the person responsible for that is none other than Rose Blunk. And I'd like to introduce her at this time, and she will present our program.
Maud Drake.
Maud Drake. I have this
Peg leg.
but it doesn't stop me from anything. My mother told me about that. Well. Good afternoon. My name is Maud Drake Bingham, and I grew up on a farm south of here. Actually, my parents sent me to Chicago for expression school. I got my degree in speech and drama, master's and doctorate. And you know, I taught speech at Northwestern for 20 years. I loved the college. The students loved me. But enough about that. I want to tell you some experiences that I had growing up on the farm. When I was about 11, my father was so very proud of me because I could harness the team, get in the wagon, and away we would go. Well, my father sent me to Alva with a load of milk to have separated. We had to go to Alva to have the milk separated because we didn't have a separator to get the cream out of it. So we were going merrily along, and I was flipping flies off of the back of the horses with my long whip. Well, I got my whip tangled in the mane of the horses, and I had to have that whip back. So I put my leg over the end of the wagon, and I caught my leg in the wagon spoke. It was horrendous. It was horrible. My knee, it was showing, and I kept going, whoa, horse. And you know, they stopped. And then I said, back, and they backed up. And I was able to get my leg out of that spoke, climb back into the wagon, and head for home. Well, my father was mortified when he saw it. My leg was almost shattered. He immediately sent to Kansas City for a doctor. Well, by the time the doctor got there, gangrene had set in. And you know what they did? They put me on the kitchen table. They assigned a man for a drip pan to scrape the blood into the pan, and they took my leg off above my knee. Well, we took it out and buried it, and Sister and I would intermittently pick flowers and put on my leg. But my mother told me, don't ever let this stop you from doing anything you ever want to do, because you are who you are. And oh man, that leg hurt. It was horrible. It came up over my knee, and I had to wear a harness, and it was awful, but I didn't let it stop me. I did everything I ever wanted to do. Well, I have one other story. It's about a bird. I don't know why my father shot this bird. He thought it was a hawk. Well, when he brought it home, it turned out to be an eagle. So we put it in a granary, and I loved that bird. It was a beautiful bird. We carried corn to it. We carried water to it. And I truly watched it recover. Well, one day I was standing out there, and the bird flew up on the windowsill. And I knew he wanted to go back. So I lifted my hand to wave, and that bird flew off, and he grabbed my hand. He pulled me up above our roof, and I could see down. And then he dropped me, and I still have the scratches on my hand. Well, the next day my father said, we're going into town. There was a man named Kent Montel Johnson. And we had him notarize this story, and I still have that in case any of you don't believe it. It is a true story. Well, come to our Tombstones tour, and I will tell you the rest of my story. I'm not finished. Sorry. Moderate family.
Excuse me.
Yes, go away. Maud is an example of some of the characters that will be portrayed in the Talking Tombstone tour at the Alva Cemetery, Saturday, October 29th. It's going to be an exciting evening filled with history, nostalgia, and admiration for what our forefathers experienced in the early times of Woods County. We have 9 characters represented. If you attend this event, here is what will happen. Come 20 minutes early to eat a hot dog and chips, and then we'll ferry you up to the wagons, and you'll board the wagon in the cemetery with hay for seats. In other words, it's a hay rack ride. There will be people with a portable step to help you, people like me, get on the trailer. The trailers will be pulled with tractors and will stop in the road where the person is buried to be talked about. The actor portraying the character will come to the hay rack and tell their story. Then we'll move on to the next stop. You will not have to get off of the trailer. Each character will talk under 5 minutes or right at 5 minutes, and the entire trip should take 1 hour and 5 or 10 minutes. This is not a scary event in any way, nor is it connected to Halloween. The information you hear will be fantastic, from Old Ike Black the Outlaw to an unnamed bootlegger and how he made his sales in the cemetery. We have a lady from the Alva High School basketball team that took the national title in New York City. Then we go to the Honorable Gus Hadwiger, who helped bring down the outlaw that is buried in the cemetery with no headstone. We talk about a guy that rode with Teddy Roosevelt's Rough Riders, and another man that left his entire fortune to Alva. Included will be the Pilgrim Bard, otherwise known as Orange Scott Cummins, whose books you can buy on Amazon today. And last but not least, Mr. W.F. Hatfield, who left his mark by being a major player in bringing Northwestern Normal School to Alva, and also by developing the park and the cemetery. This will be a wonderful evening for Alva, and we hope you plan to attend. Now, I want to brag just a little bit about the museum. We're flat moving and shaking up there. We have a room available for events where people need space for 75 to 100 people. We have a serving area, a handicap restrooms, a sound system with screen and projector for PowerPoint. It will be equipped with new chairs and tables. And you know what? We're taking bookings for upcoming seasons. So if you know anybody that needs a nice room, call the museum. Now, we also have funding to move the Cedar Grove Church onto the museum complex. I heard a remark that somebody said, "Why do you want to move that old piece of junk to town?" Well, I'll tell you why. It represents how our ancestors lived when they first came to the Strip. Communities or towns were made up of the school, the post office, and a church. That was the nucleus. Of course, livery stables, grocery stores, and saloons were also important, but this made the nucleus. We have, at this time at the museum, a post office, we have the school, and the church will complete this nucleus. But we have a dual purpose for our little country church. After we restore it to its original condition, which we have plans to do, we're going to rent it out for weddings. Maybe you want to renew your vows, or anything where people want nostalgia, simplicity, and a feeling of history. We now have the event room that will suffice as a reception area, and we feel we'll be offering a much needed service to Alva and the surrounding communities. too many people are going to Ringwood to some kind of a winery to get married. We want them here and we want their money. We're excited, we're enthused, and sometimes we're almost exhausted and overwhelmed at what we have done in the last 10 years. We've brought the museum out of a deep sleep to be a vibrant part of our community that is teaching history, providing programs for youth, summer camps, and we have a one-room school that all the fifth graders in the county are invited to attend to experience a day in a one-room schoolhouse. And as the song goes, we've only just begun. The museum board is a working board, and with that I mean a hard physical labor working board. The community has enabled us to do what we are doing by continually giving us financial support, and we sincerely appreciate it. And we hope that the support will continue as we continually work to provide preservation, historical structures, and facilities for the public. Night at the museum was our crowning glory. We had 400 people both years. We feel the Talking Tombstone tour will be just as well received with a little nostalgia thrown in, especially if you haven't taken a hayrack ride. With that, I hope to see you October 29 for an old-fashioned hayrack ride, and we'll take you back to visit some of the people who helped make Alva what it is today. Thank you. Now,
you do need to make reservations, however, and tickets are available at Merrifield's.
yes, you dropped your cane.
At Merrifield's. Well, it'll be an exciting evening, and I know some of the local characters that will be represented have a rich heritage and had created a lot of good things in Alva, and that's what we look forward to in the future for all of us, that we will be remembered as legendary individuals, people that helped shape the future instead of just sitting around and watching it happen.